Well, hello from day 3 of Rapid 2023 here in Chicago. I am so excited for the conversation I'm about to have with Expansia's AJ Jarnigan, the CEO, and Mr. Steve Voracek. I think he does everything else, right?
That's right.
Pretty much.
We take out the trash too.
See, yeah, you got to do that.
That's
get
right.
Get the
right.
trash.
That's right.
Well, I am super excited about this conversation because I met you, I want to say, a year ago.
That's right.
And have just gotten to know what a cool organization Expansia is and the kinds of things you're doing. And you had some really big milestones this year. And I hope you're going to share with us kind of where you are on that, where you find yourself on the map today.
Right.
And just tell us about you and your values and where you are.
Yeah, thank you. We're so grateful for this opportunity, Kimberly, and appreciate all that you and the America Makes team are all doing. And it's great to be a member of America Makes. It's been a great resource for us to be a part of this ecosystem that the team's developing. So Expansia, we're a small business of about 125 folks across 28 states, specifically focused on the Department of Defense right now in the intelligence community, which is where we have our roots. A lot of us are veterans, both in uniform and the civil service.
Both of you?
Both of us.
Yes.
All right. Nice.
And a lot of the folks from our company, how we're getting after some of the challenges and opportunities within the AM space. A lot of our folks are former mechanical engineers, software developers from the government, former government employees. So we're invested to see AM fulfill its purpose within the DoD because we understand the challenges there. We specifically today have a vision of how we think that AM, we'll talk a little bit more about how we think it's not so much a technology problem, but also there's a lot of opportunities as it relates to people.
Oh, yeah.
And helping build trust of advanced and additive manufacturing in the space within the Department of Defense. And talk a little bit more about how we do that.
Yeah.
Steve?
So Steve, I want to hear from you, your vantage point on this.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, former Air Force engineer, program manager, also a flyer. My vantage point is I've spent a lot of time in programs where they are struggling to keep parts on shelves and airplanes in the air. And we are really focused on helping the DoD understand and trust this technology, and we do that through various ways I know we're going to get into, but really just partnering with them. We call it a blue-collar approach. Let's get in there and let's go ahead and get them trusting this technology, adopting this technology, and not doing it part at a time, doing it at scale.
Well, you're right. I think we've heard a lot throughout the show about the need to have a fully integrated system approach to this, because this piecemeal stuff that we've all been laboring through over the last, I'll say 11 years, at least since America Makes has been around, but longer than that, we all know. The systems approach that Expansia has is really important moving forward. So let's hear about that a little bit more deeply, because that trust is the thing that's holding back the entire industry. People don't trust additively made things yet,
right?
And it's up to each of us to figure out how to change that. So what's Expansia doing in that regard?
Absolutely. The things that we're on contract to do today for the Air Force, we're really excited about and so grateful. We're honored to work shoulder to shoulder with the Air Force customers. Specifically, one of our key programs, and I'll have Steve talk a little bit more about it, is the Agora program, the always guaranteeing on-time, reliable aircraft.
Oh my goodness.
It's basically the specific customer within the Air Force. One of the great things about what they've done is they've established a centralized a team called the Rapid Sustainment Office out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. And a phenomenal team, forward-leaning around several key, how to advance technology within the sustainment space to keep these legacy aircraft flying. The B-52 that's been around for many, many decades, and many others. So the Rapid Sustainment Office developed the concepts, centralizing a lot of the challenges and opportunities. And one of the contracts we have is to work with them as a partner to establish what will become the digital thread to how to adopt AM at scale for every platform in the inventory as it's adopted per se. So Steve, talk to us a little bit more about what Agora is
hear
about.
about Agora.
Yeah, Agora. It's a fantastic project. It was a great vision, I felt, by the Air Force RSO. Essentially, it's a cloud-hosted ecosystem that's going to give access to all AM data and AM requests for the Air Force in a secure way. So we like to say it starts with part need or parts needs. Like I talk about, we want to do this in bulk. So if someone has a part need, they can make the request through the cloud-hosted enterprise. It's secure. And then it goes through all the approvals through a workflow. We also have an analysis engine that can do entire aircraft looks at a time for every single part to see if it's an additive candidate.
Now, is that based on the blueprint, or is that based on the actual aircraft in service?
It's based on all the technical data and supply data as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I know it's all possible, right?
And
we're getting to the point where where's Expansia on, making the additive, the scanned part and part of the technical data package that becomes the real thing versus the blueprint.
Yeah, so that's part of what we're doing. We're on contract, like AJ said, to work with the B-52 and some other legacy program offices to take a look at all their data. Obviously, you got to start with three-dimensional data for AM, so you have to do that step. But also, most important, really, to the Air Force at times, is configuration control of that data to make sure when the data is in a state of change, they know the change and design intent's not changed. And that's what Agora is really, really good at. We're using a PLM system to do that. And then, so part need, all the way through printing, post-processing, testing, qualification, and like I said, we have a blue-collar approach where we're going to help the government get that through the Engineering Control Authority and get it to where we can get it on aircraft.
That sounds really amazing. Like, we've been talking about the dream of this kind of a thing for a while.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Expansia has taken a very big step, and you're actually implementing it, and you're getting that trust from the Department of Defense to do that.
Right.
Could you talk to me? You said I wanted to hear more about people.
Yeah.
Because I know you, and I know that it all comes down to people.
Right. So one of the ways we deliver on our contracts is bringing in very proven commercial practices, right? Working within the very large federal acquisition regulation of how to develop weapon systems, which is very difficult, applying that to software and when software is never being built. So we have employed from day one and have done this outside in our other part of our division of our company beyond our digital sustainment division that Steve runs, is bringing in agile methodology approaches so that we work shoulder to shoulder in planning the work that's to be done in smaller increments, demoing it out as we go, instead of doing a 2-year contract, going and developing and coming back 2 years later to see if we met the requirement or not. We're actually helping the government, and they're helping us work shoulder to shoulder, 2 weeks at a time, focusing on what the work is to be done, and then it really fusing more of this need to how we better communicate together, how we demonstrate what we're all about, and that's more accountability, both within the government team and the contractor team working as one, so that there is no way, the industry team is not hiding. They know exactly the work we're doing, they approve what we're doing, they tell us what to do, it's on a board. So an agile implementation of how we do it is a big part of the transformation of the successes we've seen, not only in the AM space, but in a lot of the cloud infrastructure work we do as well in other parts of our company. So
that radical accountability, I'm going to use my own words.
Please.
You said agile, I like that, but for me, it's that radical accountability that is critical as we're trying to build the trust on this technology, because it is, the people at that program level, they're afraid to make decisions. And if that fear continues and they can't with certainty say this part is okay, this thing can go forward, we're never going to move off the dime.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
I'll use one example. When we started doing this about 8 years ago, an agile implementation for a very large weapon system, AM was not involved at the time. But ultimately what happened, and I don't like to use this because it's a happy example, but it's sometimes needed. One of the empowered leaders, a colonel, when they started to adopt this approach, he was able to start seeing where the progress was being made and by whom across a large enterprise government team. The end result was, unfortunately, some people had to get misplaced.
Yeah.
Some people had to kind of get let go. But unfortunately, sometimes that's what's necessary to see real change and adoption, that true accountability, to where we can all work together more effectively as a team.
Well, I am very excited to continue to hear of your successes, and it's great to have you as members. And thanks for being with us today. And let's keep in touch on this. I know everyone wants to hear about how it's going.
Good. Yeah, we're grateful.
Yes.
Look forward to talking more.
Yeah.
See you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.